course, it is officially July here in the garden. So in today's video, I'm going to show you 10 vegetables that you can actually still grow and get a harvest in July. So let's get started. Off with crop number 1 are green beans or bush beans. These take less than 50 to 60 days at most, and then they will fruit like crazy. We'll get a harvest all the way up till the first frost begins, and they also love the really warm weather as well. So if you have those included, these guys will be great for your garden. All you have to do is just plant them 1 inch in the ground, cover it up just really lightly, water it about every few days, and then by the time that you know it, you'll see little sprouts growing, and in about 50 days you'll get a harvest. Up number 2, there's a lot of different options, but you want to choose the one that grows the fastest because they usually take a while to actually start to grow, and that is carrots. You choose one that matures in less than 60 days or so. Keep the soil moist as possible, and then when you see little seedlings, you want to thin them apart about 2 or 3 inches apart from the carrot, or else you'll have some weird looking carrots when you harvest them. These ones are rainbow carrots, so I have no idea which color carrot I will get. Number 3, you want to grow this in full sun. Loves a lot of water once they start to fruit, and that is actually cucumbers, and you want to try to get a variety that grows super fast as well. You can see it's less than 1 month, and my cucumbers are already starting to flower like crazy. The thing about cucumbers is there's lots of different varieties of cucumbers depending on what you like and where you're actually growing them, and I believe there's a couple of varieties that are meant for small gardeners, such as the ones that are trying to grow in like an apartment. You want to do like a bush type, and that's basically like the bush beans type deal, but with cucumbers, so they won't grow as big. See, there's plenty of flower on these 3 little plants, so you want to water them pretty regularly since they are starting to fruit, and also since they are about 95% of water anyways, I believe. 4 is actually pretty easy for me to grow, and pretty easily growing for you guys as well if you do these correctly, but it is actually zucchini plants, and I'm growing these for the first time, and at first I thought it was going to be pretty challenging to grow, but since I planted them in the full sun, they are absolutely loving it. You can see they are throwing off some flowers and also some fruit as well. Start to flower like in less than 45 days or so, so they will absolutely give you a buttload of zucchini in July since they love the heat as well. Crop might be a little challenging, especially if you're growing in North Carolina like me and already it is way too hot outside, but you want to try to grow a heat tolerant plant, and that is lettuce. And as you can see, really hard to keep lettuce to grow in July, especially because of the heat, because all what they want to do is just start to throw out the flower because of how hot it is, and they're mainly just a cold variety crop to grow anyway, so you want to try to grow this in like the winter time rather than in the fall time. If you are going to try to grow lettuce in the summertime, you want to get like a heat tolerant type of lettuce that won't bolt in the summertime. Number 6 is actually potatoes, and if you grow this right, you should get a harvest in about 70 to 90 days, which is a lot of days. So you want to grow them probably in like May or April to get like a good harvest in the early fall, late summer. And that is actually potatoes. If you want to get like an early head start, you want to grow them later in the year rather than right now, kinda, just because they do take a while. And some of those types I will put on the screen for you guys, and that is like Yukon Gold, and actually plant those in containers, and those will actually do really well. As you could see from the video last year, we did pretty well, got a good harvest out of that little container. So you basically can grow potatoes wherever you are. Crop is a little challenging to grow from seed, so you probably want to grow these from like starters from nurseries, or just by cutting the sucker off of the plant, and that is actually tomatoes. And much you want to choose a fast growing type of tomatoes, such as like cherry tomatoes or bush type tomatoes as well, since those will be less than 50 to 60 days, which will give you plenty of time to get a harvest before it's too late. Also, you want to fertilize them about every 2 to 3 weeks as well to get like a good boost on your harvest. See, these are at least a couple, maybe a month old tomatoes, and as you can see, they are getting pretty good up to size, and the plant is continuously flowering every single day, but still producing yummy tomatoes. Next crop that you want to grow as well is sort of like the bush beans, but this time they're pole beans, which require some type of trellis to grow them on top of, because they do climb, as they imply in their name, as pole beans. So you want to try to grow them on trellises, but you also want to plant them 1 inch in the soil and cover them up, and in about maybe 3 days, or so, maybe 5 to 7 days actually, they will sprout, and then about maybe less than a month later, they will continuously grow and grow, and then eventually flower. See, they are continuously growing on this trellis every single day. Should produce little beans in like 60 to 70 days or so. So you want to try to grow a fast type of bean as well. Also, they don't really like that much fertilizer, so don't try to overdo it, or else you might accidentally kill your beans, which is what you don't want to happen. Crop is basil, and they love the heat so much that they will grow huge and start to bush if you do the steps correctly. But mainly because of the heat, the plant wants to go directly to seed. So if you don't want that to happen, you want to come in, pinch the flowers off, and that will prevent the plant to actually go to seed. So if you do that pretty often, you should end up having this wonderful bush of basil. Since they also love the heat so much, you can either grow them from seed, which is I did for this plant, which was surprisingly a little easier than I expected. But when you grow them from seed, they will have like this little gel thing emerge on the plant, and it looks a little weird, but pretty much that's a good sign of them growing. Or either you can just get them from the nursery and just plant them that way for easier. This is borage, which is technically an herb rather than a vegetable, but still a pretty flower to grow in the garden. As you can see, it's like this purple, blue, pinkish flower, and it throws off a lot of flowers all season long up till the frost begins. To plant them about 1 inch in the soil, either, well, actually in the garden, because they do not like to be transplanted because they have like a sensitive root, and if you disturb it just a little bit, they will immediately die. Believe it or not, though, if you try the leaves, even though they are a little spiky, but you can take them off, but the leaves actually taste a little like cucumbers, but the flowers will attract bees, which will attract pollinators for your garden wherever you plant them, and they're pretty easy to grow. This is my second year of growing them, and I absolutely love them. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, I'll see you in the next one, and keep on growing.